Now, here's the last area I'm going to get into, so I'm almost done, all right? The next area I investigated was a medical leave that he took. Now, under the local's medical leave policy for officers, if they're out on sick leave, they get full pay, full benefits, and their car allowance. Now, on July 2nd, 2015, there was an e-board meeting, and after the meeting, the e-board members were having a meal, and they received a text from John Ulrich. By the way, John didn't attend that meeting. So Ulrich told Weber and the other members of the e-board in the group text that he fell down the stairs in his house and he broke his leg and ankle, and he was kind enough to send pictures. 75 and 76, please. Okay, there's 75. Let's go to the writing. Fell and fractured my leg and ankle. How much more effed up can I be? Go up a little more, the next one. Go to the next one. Let's see the writing. Slipped, fell, tore the hell out of it. I do need one. Oh, I do need one. What he's making reference to there is a cast. Okay? They just kept it stable. Front fracture of tibia and ankle. Shaft fracture. I'm a complete idiot. Go back to the previous picture, please. Go down. So, unless I'm wrong, that's his left leg, right? That's his left leg. I'll tell you why. That's going to be key in a second. Right? Now, Ulrich testified he didn't remember sending the text, but he remembers telling people that he was at the hospital getting x-rays. So from July 2nd, he went out on sick leave, and for the next 3 or 4 months, he collected his full salary, including a car allowance, while he sat home. And let me tell you where he was, okay? Now, on August 17, 2015, can you pull up charging party 77? On August 7, 2015, after Ulrich was out on sick leave for 6 weeks, Ed Weber, being the responsible union officer that he is, sent Ulrich a letter saying he needed some medical documentation for the injury. There's the letter, okay? To John from Ed. Now he asked him to provide a letter stating what your condition was, whether he was capable of returning to work, and if not, the expected date of recovery. So Ulrich testified he received this letter, but he contended he wasn't out on sick leave because he was talking on the phone and answering emails. So his position was he wasn't out on sick leave. He was home injured, but because he was doing emailing and phones, that counted for full-time work. Now, Ulrich never provided the local any medical documentation in response to that letter. So on September 9th, 9 weeks after going out on sick leave, Weber called Ulrich and asked him about the medical documentation. The following day, September 10th, 2015, Weber sent Ulrich an email asking again for the medical documentation. Charging party 78, please. Okay, so there it is. All right, can you move it up a little? It says, I hope you're recovering as per our discussion yesterday and the letter I sent August 17. The union needs, files, proof of disability from your physician. So remember what the date is on this, September 10th, okay? The dates are crucial. Now, in response, first of all, Ulrich testified he didn't remember receiving that email, but he claimed that he gave Ed Weber the medical documentation in person in August after he received that August 17th letter. Now, in response to this email, Ulrich finally produced some medical documentation. Charging party 79, please. Can you go down a little? Okay, so it's from Crystal Run Healthcare, where apparently he gets his health care. It's addressed to him. It comes from a doctor. The doctor's name is screamed out here for some reason. Let me tell you what his name is so you know I'm not making it up, because if I was going to make up a name, it wouldn't be this name. Waul Fakori, okay? So Dr. Fakori said in his letter that he had been treated for trauma with possible nerve damage with a hematoma. You know what a hematoma is? A blood clot, a black and blue. Okay? No mention in this letter of any breaks or fractures. Okay? So in addition to this, John gave us his medical records from Crystal Health Run. Can you turn to page 80, please? So here it is. John Ulrich, date of birth, I guess. Now, you see that date? Stop. 9/1/2015. Okay? So here it is. Here's the first page of the medical documents he gave us. Now, I don't know what happened when we scanned this, but... Okay, so right here, where you really can't read it, what that says is history of present illness. Okay? So then you say Ulrich slipped, and it's blacked out. It's redacted. Okay? On the original, it's actually a black magic marker. Somebody took a black magic marker and blacked it out. So it says Ulrich slipped and suffered a left pretibial laceration. A laceration's a cut, gentlemen. Doesn't say anything about any break. Now, the rest of it's hysterical if you pay attention. The patient's wound has completely healed. He's all better. He's all better, okay? But he comes in today, his left leg, with an exaggerated pain response to very light, soft touch. The doctor was basically saying he's faking with respect to the pain. An exaggerated pain response to very soft touch. So, I asked John, who blocked that out? And he said that he blocked it out, redacted it. I asked him why. He said because the doctor told him to, because it was nobody's business where he fell. So I asked John, why would you possibly block out where you fell? So John said, I didn't block out where I fell. What are you talking about? That's not what it says. So can you turn to charging party 82? So this is the same page. He gave us this, but he must have not known he gave it to us. Because look, history of present illness, you see the same thing, exaggerated pain, completely healed, same date, but now it's not redacted, it's not blacked out. Look what he blacked out. Mr. Ulrich slipped on a dock. He didn't fall in his house. Shame on him. He fell on a dock, okay? A dock where you put your boat, all right? Now I asked Ulrich if the day he fell at the dock was a work day, and he said he didn't know. But I checked. July 2nd, 2015 was a work day. He wasn't at work. I know it was a work day because I looked at the calendar, and the E-Board had a meeting. They usually meet on work days. So, let me tell you one other thing he said.
You gotta tell us one.
So in November 2015, this involves you. Ulrich returned to work and he attended a membership meeting. At the meeting, which was recorded, he told the membership he slipped and fell in his house and he broke his leg. You may remember, he was actually pretty clever at that membership meeting. He said, gentlemen, you haven't seen me. I want to dispel all the rumors. I wasn't attacked by a shark. I wasn't in Iraq fighting Al-Qaeda. He said a bunch of other stuff like that. So I asked him about his statement to you, and I said, why did you tell the membership that you fell and broke your leg in your house when you actually slipped on a dock? So he said to me, for the first time, that he actually fell twice. He fell once in his house when he broke his leg and his ankle, and then a few days later, he fell on the dock. Here's the problem with that story, if you have a bullshit meter, okay? What are you doing on a dock with your broken leg and ankle? But even if that's the case, and it could be, I'll give him credit, You got a cast on your left leg, gentlemen. You're not going to get a cut, and ladies, I'm sorry. You're not going to get a cut on your left leg if it's in a cast and you slip and you fall. So nowhere in the medical records does it say that he broke his leg. I asked him to give me a HIPAA release or to bring me proof that he broke his leg. He never produced it. He refused to give us the HIPAA release. One other individual I deposed in connection with this part of the thing was John Romano. I don't know if you know John, but he works for the Health Fund. Really nice stand-up guy. Oh, Jim, I'm sorry. All right. Let me make that correction now. So Jim actually testified. He was compelled to testify. He didn't testify willingly because John's his friend. So Romano said that he knew Ulrich for 19 years and that in the summertime they socialized 1 or 2 times a week. He said that they both have a boat in the same marina on the Hudson River in Newburgh, New York. Romano testified that Ulrich hurt his leg when he fell between the dock and his boat. Romano said that he didn't know anything about falling and breaking a leg in his house, and he also testified that during that summer he never saw Ulrich with a cast on. Now, based on this evidence, and there's others, but I don't want to go into it, it's late, I drafted charges for the local to present against John, because that's what I do, gentlemen. Okay? He was charged with a number of things. All of the things I just went over with you and some additional stuff as well. So John contended that he couldn't get a fair shake before the executive board. For some reason or other, he thought people were out to get him. But I don't know how people invented this amendment, the participation agreement, went back 3 years and faked his credit card charges, and then got to his medical records. I don't know who did that, but clearly they were as good as Houdini. So John asked for a hearing before the Joint Counsel, neutral territory, I take it. And it is neutral territory. That's why that provision exists in the Constitution. So on the day of the hearing, I was there, I testified. John didn't show. He didn't show. He didn't show to present any evidence to refute these charges. His lawyer didn't show up either. He contended he was sick and he asked for an adjournment. But listen, I go to court every day. When my clients are sick, I appear and I tell the judge, they're sick, can we adjourn? That didn't happen. So the Joint Counsel heard the evidence, saw the exhibits, much more than I showed you tonight, heard from some other people like Ed Weber, and the Joint Counsel found him guilty of all the charges. So just let me, without putting it up there because it's late, let me tell you what the Joint Counsel said. The Joint Counsel found that the evidence, I quote, was overwhelming and indisputable to support the charges that he changed the contract, drafted a participation agreement on his own, embezzled, and then faked an injury so he could be on sick leave. One final thing I want to tell you about in 30 seconds, and then I'm going to hand the microphone over to Walter King. So, whenever I do these investigations, something unexpected always comes up, inevitable. So I'm not a guy that's easily surprised. I'm pretty jaded. I was very surprised in this case. Let me tell you what happened. So as part of my investigation, I ran a background check on John. I do it on a lot of people, not just him. I keep private investigators very busy. So as part of my background check on John, I noticed that he had, and he posted these on his Facebook page, 2 Corvettes. He had a number of other cars, and more significantly, he had a boat, a very big, expensive boat that cost, based on my research, between $75,000 and $100,000 used. So my background check revealed that he was basically broke. He didn't have any money in the bank. He didn't have any significant assets. So based on my assessment, I immediately thought he was living beyond his means, and I wondered how that was possible. So I wasn't necessarily looking at that, but it was a thought in the back of my mind. So later during the course of this investigation, right at the tail end, when I was just about done and out the door, I got a call from somebody at Crossroads. Everybody know what Crossroads is? The third-party administrator, or the former third-party administrator for the health fund. They were there for years. So I got a call from somebody I know at Crossroads for many, many years. And I'll be very honest with you. I've represented Crossroads a number of times over the years in various things. Now, one of the things that's been posted on the internet was that I had a conflict of interest because I shouldn't have done this investigation because I had previously represented Crossroads, and Crossroads plays into this, and I'll tell you how in a second. So they contended that I represented Crossroads and I had sued the fund for $1 million. Where's the proof? Where's the proof? Show me some document that shows I sued the local or the fund. I'm telling you right now, I've done hundreds, if not thousands, of lawsuits. I've never sued a union local or a union fund because I'm a union lawyer. I never sued 812. And in fact, I worked with 812 and Crossroads to defeat lawsuits by hospitals. But let me tell you about what this person at Crossroads told me. The person called me and said, I hear investigating John, I need to tell you something. I said, what do you want to tell me? He said, well, for the last couple of years, 3 so years, John has been extorting me. I said, what? He said, yes. He's been making us pay him kickbacks because he threatened not to renew Crossroads' contract with the fund. Now, because I had previously represented Crossroads, I couldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. That would be a conflict. I can't investigate a former client. So what I did when I got that information, I immediately notified fund counsel because it really was a fund issue and not a local issue, and I was working for the local. So I handed that issue off to Walter Kane, and Walter was the point person on that. And I'll hand it over to Walter now, but thank you so much for your attention.